Hello, this is Joseph Holbrook, your professor. Let me turn the music down. That's Andean music from the Andes. This is Joseph Holbrook. I'm your professor for the Introduction to Latin American and Caribbean Studies for fall semester of 2018, LAS 3002. And I just want to go over the syllabus with you to give you a little orientation for the class. Feel free to send me any questions you might have as a result if I don't answer them in this little presentation. So if you look over on the left, you'll see my office is in DM 350, the building next to the library on the main campus. My email is jholbroo@fiu.edu, but I prefer if you can message me through Canvas first. We're going to be using Canvas for this course, and it has a messaging feature within it, and that helps me keep my classes organized. You see my office phone, 305-348-7283. I have a Twitter account that's a dedicated Twitter account for Latin America, LA_history_FIU. There's a dedicated class blog and a YouTube channel. And you'll also be able to look at the syllabus on the inside Canvas. So I'll be having office hours after class on Mondays in my office. That's at 11:30 a.m. Also on Wednesdays in Miramar, at the Miramar campus, I'll have office hours from 4:15 to 5 p.m. I'll be teaching the same class over in Miramar on Wednesdays, so after class I'll have office hours. If you're unable to make it to my office hours, please call me or email me and we'll schedule an appointment at a more convenient time, and we will find a way to meet up. So this course is not a history course, although there is a little history that you will pick up. This is a course that gives an introduction, an interdisciplinary introduction to Latin America and the Caribbean. When we say "and the Caribbean," we're attempting to include the English-speaking islands, the West Indies, along with Latin America. The term Latin America, as you'll find out, does not usually include English-speaking countries such as Belize or some of the islands. So this is an introduction to Latin America, which is traditionally considered to be about 21 Spanish and Portuguese and French-speaking countries, and the West Indies, or the Caribbean. This is the book that we're going to use, The Companion to Latin American Studies by Philip Swanson. There will be copies available to purchase in the bookstore. There is a copy in the library that's an e-book that you can read online. If you look it up in there, I think only one person can read it at a time. And so I also have some PDFs of some of the chapters that I'll make available to those that perhaps do not have the book. So purchasing the book is highly encouraged, but not absolutely necessary. Let me know if you have any issues. We'll also be doing a few other readings, supplementary readings, in addition to the book. Let me emphasize that this is a writing-intensive course. You'll be writing 3 essays. You'll also be writing a number, at least 10 film or forum discussions. And so if you don't like to read, you don't like to write, this is probably not a good class for you to take. If you're interested in Latin America, however, or the Caribbean, this is an excellent class. And also, it's the required core class for our Latin American and Caribbean certificate, which only requires 18 credits in order to complete it, or a major, a bachelor's major in Latin American and Caribbean Studies, which requires 30 credits. However, both of them require this course as the core introductory requirement. And so some of you are probably taking it because you want to get the certificate, or because Latin American Studies is your second major or your primary major. Others may just have looked at it and thought, that looks interesting. I'm from Ecuador, I'm from Brazil, I want to learn more about Latin America. So after you take this course, if you enjoy it, I hope you'll take some more courses that count towards our bachelor's or our certificate. I prefer that you contact me first through Canvas message. Again, I teach more than one course, and anything you send to my email is likely to get lost. I have 3 different email accounts, and I have several classes. I used to also teach at Miami-Dade College, and so it can become a nightmare. While I'm saying that, please do not send me any writing assignments through email. It'll get lost. It will not get graded. I won't even know you sent it most of the time. It's got to go in Canvas. Or you can come by and bring me a hard copy in some cases. But do not send me any writing assignments through email, because I just can't keep up with it. We will have some Turnitin essays. They'll be in Turnitin. I should probably say something about plagiarism. Maybe I'll save that for another video. It's kind of a downer. I'm very, very, what's the word? I have a big problem with plagiarism. And I have, last semester, actually, spring semester, in my Latin American history class was the first time I ever had a class with no plagiarism. And that's because I yelled at them at the beginning of the class. So please do not plagiarize. I'll come back to that, talk about it in a later video. The 3 essays we're going to be writing, essay 1 is due on September 22nd. It's called When Worlds Collide. It's about the encounter between Europeans and Native Amerindians, the Columbian exchange, the disease that they picked up from one another. Essay 2 will be titled The Idea of Latin America, due on October 27th, and I'll talk to you more about that. And the last essay is called Border Wars, November 22nd. It's about the issue of immigration. Each one of these essays should be about 3 pages double-spaced, or about 1,000 or 1,200 words. If you need help, by the way, please come by my office. I'm more than happy to help you with your essays. We're also going to be looking at 5 films. I'll be offering at least 6. One of them will serve as either a makeup or an extra credit film. But 5 required films. Apocalypto, director Mel Gibson, which gives a view of Amerindian life before the arrival of the Europeans. The Mission, with Robert De Niro, which shows Jesuit missionaries trying to protect the Guarani Indians from encroaching Portuguese slave traders. Dona Flor de Seus Dois Maridos, 1984, is a Brazilian film based on an excellent book by Jorge Amado, and that will go with our chapter on our week on literature. 4 Days in September, in 1998, is a political film, also I think done in, I can't remember now if it's Argentina or Brazil, but it's about the period of the oppression and crackdown of military governments in the Southern Cone that were torturing young people and causing many of them to be disappeared. And then finally, El Norte, which is a very moving film about a Guatemalan brother and sister whose family is killed in a civil war in Guatemala, and so they feel their lives are threatened, and so they make their way through Mexico and try to cross the border into the United States. It was done in 1984. I believe it's pretty realistic, and that will give all of us something to think about as you write your last essay on the border wars. There will also be weekly quizzes, which will be 15% of your final grade. These quizzes will be based on the readings, one reading each week. Actually, some weeks it might be more than one, but basically your weekly readings will be, you'll have to take a quiz. I will discount the lowest grades, and only 10 of the quizzes will count. So you have some leeway there. I encourage you not to miss any, and so that weeks that you don't do well, those lower grades can be discounted. But this will be also, the questions from these quizzes will be, you'll see them again on the midterm and the final exam. So your best option is not to skip them. Participation is 5% of their final grade. Now, how do you participate in an online course? There's going to be 4 Adobe Connect sessions. I'm using Adobe Connect right now to record this. There'll be 4 of these sessions, and I'll give you instructions on how to dial in and participate in a discussion, an online virtual discussion that we'll have. There'll be 1 per month, basically about every 3 or 4 weeks. There'll be an Adobe Connect session, and you will get, I have it here somewhere, I think you'll get 10 or 25 points for each one. Anyway, whatever it is, 10 points for participation. So I don't remember right now exactly. Oh, each online forum discussion will be 5 points potentially if you speak up and if you participate. So 5 times 4, it comes out to 20. And there are other ways that you can also earn participation: by coming by my office to see me, by emailing, and I will answer questions on that later. But remember, it's only 5% of your grade. It's not a huge deal, but this is to keep you engaged in the class. Then the midterm and final exams will be 15% each. Again, there are multiple choice questions online. They'll be based on your quizzes. So hopefully you will be diligent about doing the reading. So here's the grade distribution. The first writing assignment is 15%. Then another writing assignment, 15%. The third is 15%. That's a total of 45% of your grade is from writing assignments. Obviously, you cannot pass this course without doing the writing assignments, the essays. That's 45% of the grade. And then when you add in the online film discussions, that's another 15%, which takes it up to 60. So 60% of this grade is reading or watching a film and writing your thoughts about it. Please think about that. Do the math. Think about it because every semester I have students who just absolutely will not do the writing. And there's no point in signing up for this class if you're not going to write. And I will help you. You can improve your writing. So please let me know. If you come and see me and ask for help with an essay, I'll count that towards your participation. The chapter quizzes, you're required to at least complete 10 of them, 10 points each. That's another 10% of the grade. Participation I've already talked about is 5%. Midterm exam, October 10th, is 10%, and the final exam is 15%. And both of those will be online and will be based on the same multiple choice questions you see in the quizzes. Here is the new grading scale for FIU Online. You notice that they've raised the A to a 95 or above. It used to be 93 or above. 95 or above is the new grading scale. An A minus is 90 to 94. I do allow a few extra credit opportunities up to 3% of your final grade. That means you can only add 3 points onto your final grade through extra credit. I have some reasons why I do that. I've had people nearly fail the class and try to knock out 15, 20 extra credit points to raise their grade, 2-letter grades, and that's not the purpose of extra credit. The purpose of the extra credit is if you are at an 89, which is a B+, and you're only 1 point or 2 points or 3 points away from a higher grade, then extra credit can help you get from a B plus to an A minus. It's not going to help you get from a B minus to an A. It doesn't work that way. So a couple items that you can do for extra credit. You can, instead of watching 5 films, you can watch 6 films. In the extra film, you can turn in a review, and I'll give you one point extra credit for doing an extra film. That means you can't skip out of the first 2 or 3 or 4 films, because it's going to hurt your grade, and you'll not be able to use it for extra credit. Another thing you can do for extra credit is follow my dedicated Twitter account, LA, capital LA _ history _ FIU. If you follow that account and let me know, that'll also count as 1 point. And then I have a couple other ways you can get extra credit. You can ask me about it, and I'll tell you more during the semester. So week 1, August 20th through the 24th, we're going to begin the introduction. You'll be reading the introduction to Philip Swanson's Companion to Latin American Studies. And you'll also read some notes that I took on a book by Walter Mignolo. And these are my notes, so it's only like 2 pages long. But it's about his view on the name Latin America, a different point of view. And you will also read a document which is about 3 or 4 pages long called The Role of Disease in History. And you'll watch a crash course in U.S. History #1 with John Green. You see the link there. The name of that particular episode is The Black Legend, Native Americans and Spaniards. So it's really important that you watch this, because at least 4 of the questions on the quiz come from the crash course video. And then finally, you'll watch the film Apocalypto, directed by Mel Gibson. It's available on YouTube. You can YouTube it or Google it. Also, you'll see I have a link there. You'll watch that film, and then the tasks for this first week include a practice test. The practice test will be based on this syllabus to see if you've actually read the syllabus. It's due on Tuesday night, August 21st at 11:59 p.m. Quiz 1 will be based on the readings that are assigned above, and also there's at least 4 questions on the crash course in U.S. History, and that's due, it says Thursday night, but I think it's Wednesday. I'm going to have to get back to you and confirm that. It's either Wednesday night or Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. And you can look in your Canvas, and you can see a calendar in there, and look on the calendar and see which one it is. Okay, so that's the beginnings of this course. Where each week we're going to be looking at a different aspect of Latin America through the eyes of a different discipline, or the lenses of a different discipline. So next week, the second week, we'll be looking at geography. We'll be looking at Latin America through the lens of politics, through history, sociology, anthropology, literature, race, gender. So we'll be looking at it through a number of different ways. And I hope by the end of this course you'll have a thorough knowledge of Latin America and the Caribbean. And again, please feel free to contact me. I will always count it towards your participation. My office is in DM. There's my email address. You can also use Canvas, phone number, Twitter, class blog, YouTube channel. I look forward to getting to know you all, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.